Okay, so this is now our lecture on the different sampling methods for doing quantitative research. Okay, so for today, we will discuss about the nature of sampling, the basic type of sampling, and the determination of sample size. Okay, so what is sampling? No? Sampling is the process of choosing a representative portion of a population or some elements in a population that will represent the entire population. So it is assumed that the characteristics of the chosen elements called sample reflect the characteristics of the entire population. Again, before you do your research, it's important that you select who will be your respondents. And how are we going to do that? We will have to undergo sampling. Okay, and it is important that when we select samples, no, the samples or the individuals reflect rather the characteristics of the entire population. Okay, so it's important to know the meaning of population element, target population, sample population, the sampling frame, and the sample. Okay, so population, it refers to the total number of elements to be studied. So this is the total number of respondents that you will give your or conduct your study. No? Next is the population element. The population element refers to the item, an object, an area, or an individual on which data will be taken. So considered as the unit of the study. So again, when we say population elements, it refers to the individual where you will get your data. Next is the target population. The target population for which representative information is desired. Next one is the sampling population. This is the population from which a sample is actually drawn. No? From your sampling population, this is where you will get your sample. Next one is the sampling frame. Okay, the sampling frame is simply the list of all the elements or sampling units in a population. So the sample is drawn from the sampling frame. So where you will get your official sampling frame, you will have to write to the registrars for you to obtain a copy or a list of all of the students or your population elements. Next one is the sample. This refers to an individual, an element, or a group of individuals or elements on which information is obtained. Alright, so next let us proceed to the basic types of sampling. What do we mean when we say basic types of sampling? These are the common types method of sampling that you can use. So we have first the non-probability sampling, and the second is the probability sampling. Okay, non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling is arbitrary or non-random and is generally subjective. So data gatherers choose sample cases as they wish or wherever they find them. So non-probability sampling is used when you do qualitative research because the process is generally subjective. That means to say you don't get to randomize your respondents. So you gather or choose the respondents as you wish or where you find them. Okay, next one is probability sampling. This is where we will focus because probability sampling is used when we do quantitative research. Now, it is based on the concept of random selection, a procedure that assures that all elements in the population are given an equal chance of being selected as a sample or unit. So the respondents are randomly selected, thus giving everybody an equal chance to be selected to become respondents. Okay, so for probability sampling, so we have simple random sampling and systematic sampling with a random start. But of course, we will start discussing the simple random sampling. So simple random sampling is a process of selecting sample cases or subset of sample cases from a population, giving all the sampling units equal chances of being included as a sample. So you do this randomly. It may be done by drawing of lots, or other authors also call this a fishbowl method, or with the use of table of random units. So what is drawing of lots? How do you randomize your respondents by drawing of lots? So pieces of paper, same size, same color, on which the names or symbol of each of the elements of the population is written, is placed in a container and mixed. So it's like just picking papers, rolled papers from the bowl. Now, then the desired number of elements is drawn. So depending on how many do you need for your to be picked, no, as your sample size, either with or without replacement. When we say with replacement, that means to say that maybe one of the names of the papers you've picked is not willing to participate, and so you will have to replace him or her, and then you will have to pick again from the bowl. Okay, so it's fun. Next one is using table of random digits. A table of random digits is a table containing randomly arranged numbers in columns and in rows. So in here, we arrange the respondents according to numbers and we place them in columns or rows. So we put them in a table. So from a random start, so you pick randomly the first number. Numbers within the total number of population are drawn in a particular direction. So either you go horizontally or vertically until the desired number of samples are selected. So the study sample will constitute the elements represented by the numbers or symbols drawn. Okay, so if you choose a simple random sampling, you can just do it by drawing of lots or the fishbowl method, or table with random digits. Okay, the next one is the systematic sampling with a random start. So it is a method of selecting a sample from population by taking the kth units from an ordered population from the first unit which is selected at random. So systematic sampling with a random start. So the first pick is of the number is done in random. So the K here is called the sampling interval. So we will determine the K. The sampling interval is derived by dividing the total population by the desired sample size. So to use this technique, an ordered list of the population elements is required. Okay, so it's simple. Okay, we will just have to determine the K unit or the sampling interval. How do we do that? We just have to divide the total population by the desired sample size. So for example, the total population is 100 and the desired sample size is only 50. So we divide 100 by 50, which will give us 2 as the answer. So 2 here is our sampling interval. So how do we do systematic sampling with a random start? So we should list first all of the respondents. So in here, I just presented 1 to 12, but supposing we have 1 to 100, no, so we just have an imaginary line there, and then we start randomly. For example, we pick 2 instead of 1, so we start by 2. That means to say automatically respondent number 2 is the one official respondent, and then we count because our sampling interval is 2, so we count from 2. So 3 and 4, 1, 2. Okay, so that means to say 3 and 4 will be skipped, and so 5 is our next respondents, and then we will count again. 1, 2, technically 6 and 7 will be skipped. Our next respondents will be the 8, and then we count again. 9, 10, so they will be skipped, and then the next respondent is 11, so on and so forth until you reach the 100, or until you reach 100 and you get the 50 sample size. Okay, so that's how you do systematic sampling with a random start. So it's also fun to do. Okay, so for quantitative research, since you will be doing descriptive or correlational, so you just choose either you do or you use a simple random sampling by drawing of lots, or using table with random digits, or systematic sampling with a random start. Okay. Next is the determination of the sample size. So before we do our sampling method, we have to determine our sample size first. So this is the first thing to do in your sampling. So we have to determine how many respondents do we need for the conduct of the study. So Slovan's formula, I don't know if you've encountered this already, but this is the formula which is commonly used, no, in determining the sample size. So a sample size can be determined using the Sloven's 1960 formula, which is as follows. So we have here N is the sample size. This is the one that we will be looking for. And then the big letter N here is the population size. Okay, divided by 1 as a constant value plus the population size times the E, which stands for the margin of error, and then squared. Okay, so again, this is the formula. N, the sample size is equals to the n as the population size, total population size, divided by 1 as a constant value plus the total population size times margin of error squared. Okay, so usually class, the margin of error is set at 2%. So supposing in your study, the study size of your population is 10,000. So what is the size of your sample if you allow 2% margin of error? So using above caption formula, the sample size can be computed as follows. So n equals to 10,000 divided by 1 as a constant value plus 10,000, the total population size, times the margin of error at 2%, 0.02 squared. Okay, so squared also is a constant part of the formula, equals to 10,000 divided by 1 plus 10,000. So what's the rule? When we multiply, we have to deal with the numbers inside the parentheses first. So 0.02 squared is equal to 0.0004, or equals to 10,000 divided by 1 plus 10,000 times 0.0004 is equal to 4. So, which gives us 10,000 divided by 5 equals to 2,000. So, therefore, your representative sample size is 2,000 out of 10,000. So, that's how you are going to determine your sample size. So, again, you just have to remember the Sloven's formula. So, after you've already determined how many respondents do you need for the conduct of your study, now you have this is the time now that you will have to choose between using the simple random sampling or the systematic sampling with a random start for your sampling method. Okay, so thank you, and that ends my discussion on the different sampling method.